Information Station 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
It's 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Friday. And Greg Hammond is on the phone. He's the co-founder of the Do More That Matters Foundation. The two ladies that were just in here are doing lots of stuff that matters. So this is a perfect segue. He has written a book called You Can Do More That Matters. If you knew what you could, if you knew you could, wouldn't you? And boy, I love the premise of the question that the subtitle asks. I believe we could probably all do a little bit more that matters. The two ladies were just here bringing in these little cards that some elderly folks in our community filled out with their Christmas wishes, and they were nothing more than like a dinner at a local buffet restaurant or a gift card for a grocery store. Greg Hammond, good morning, Greg. How you doing?
Good morning, Larry. I'm doing wonderful.
And where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Wethersfield, Connecticut, just outside of Hartford.
What's the weather like in Wethersfield?
It's cold and rainy today.
Oh, no. Okay, well, I'll rub it in. It's beautiful here. I think we're all getting some cold weather soon, though, from what the weatherman says. So I love this idea. I've always been impressed by people who have dedicated themselves to helping others, and not that I'm any kind of a saint in any way, but I don't know, it always touches me.
Thank you. No, I feel the same way, that I think we're all put here to help each other out and do more that matters.
Yeah. And have you always been like this? Like that?
I have. I think it started out with me as a child growing up in a household where although I never discussed it with my father, certainly witnessed him showing me that it's important to be part of a community and to give back.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of carried that forward from my childhood.
Yeah, and what you just described right there is probably the best way that happens is for somebody who is a child to have a parent who gets that whole the importance of that lesson. So, and are you a dad? Did you pass it on to your own children?
I do. I have two wonderful daughters. So, yes, I involve them, and hopefully they'll continue the tradition.
One of the things that I went through recently, 5 years ago, my dad passed away, and last year my mom passed away. So in getting my mom's house ready to sell, I went through so many tangible things that had memories associated with them. And most of those things were distributed throughout the family. So while something might not be valuable to anybody else, they might be valuable to the person who has it, because maybe it's a clock that they remember when they were a kid sitting on the counter or something like that, but it's not really valuable in the worldly sense. It's just more of a what do you call it? An emotional connection or something like that? Sentimental?
Absolutely, and we talk about that in our book, You Can Do More That Matters, that we're not just talking about money, that there are many other things that you can look at making an impact to your family members in leaving a legacy. I talk about in the book of one client I work with who inherited a cookbook from her mother, and so every time she opens that up and she sees the handwriting of her mother in the margins, she feels like her mother is right there cooking with her.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, among the things that I found were pictures of my grandmother and even some great-grandparents that I may have never known. But the ones I did know, as an adult now, I'm closing in on 60, so it's been a while for me. But I can think back to when I was a child and my relationship with my grandparents, and I'm thinking now, I didn't really know them. It's kind of weird. These are people so much older than you that they pass away before you really have a chance to grasp what life is about. At least in my case, that happened. And I think some of the ideas that I was reading about that you're going to propose to us today would be a great way to, like, I would maybe know better, or I'd be more aware of it as I got older, if I was to help out maybe my great-grandchildren who don't even exist anymore. And yet, they don't exist yet, obviously. So.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. In Mitch Albom's book, Have a Little Faith, he talks about the fact that we all face what he calls a second death, and that as individual, we tend to fade from memory around that second generation. So yes, our great-grandparents have very faint memories. And so I think that's an important thing for each of us to consider, is what are we doing today to pass on our wisdom, our values, or just make sure that we're memorable to our future generations to come, whether they're in existence or not even in existence yet.
We use technology for so many things, but the fear I have is that technology will actually work against us in this regard. Because if all my correspondence is email, if all my correspondence is e-pictures, and there's no real tangible physical paper that can be stuffed in a box somewhere, maybe those memories will disappear quicker than they did in the past.
Well, that's certainly a challenge that we all face, and certainly if you had saved a letter on a floppy disk, you'd be out of luck right now.
Yeah, right.
And certainly the same thing will probably come with flash drives and CD-ROMs eventually. So I think, yes, it's one of the things we have to be aware of is the medium that we're using to pass on our thoughts. But I also think there's a huge power of writing it down in your own handwriting. That is not only passing on that information, but it also kind of gives a little bit of your own personality by the style of your handwriting.
So tell me about the foundation that you started, the Do More That Matters Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Well, as my co-author Ron Ware and I were working on our book and creating this message, we briefly talked about on being examples to our children, wanted to do the same thing through our book. And so we created the Do More That Matters Foundation as a way to take profits from the book to create a charitable impact from the book and a lasting legacy that will hopefully carry on beyond us.
So your co-author is Ron Ware, and our guest right now is Greg Hammond. So we're talking about what we can do that matters. And does the book give us what do I want to ask? Like practical advice on how we can maybe handle our finances for our offspring and our children's children, etc.?
Absolutely. The book is divided into 3 parts to help all of us do more that matters. The first part, we take a look at what can we possibly do, live more and give more is the way we like to phrase it. And I think one of the challenges that we all face as we have busy lives and many of us just kind of allow our lives to unfold in front of us is that we never take the time to really stop, think, and dream about the impact that we'd like to make in our community and with our family and the causes and organizations that we care about. So kind of the first part is to think about what's possible and take time to do that. And then the part 2 of the book talks about kind of what are the things that are keeping us from doing those things. Why is it that we fall short? What are some of the challenges that we all face? Certainly we're in a time frame now that we have a lot of uncertainty, both in the economy as well as the financial markets that have been up and down over the last decade. So what are those challenges that come in the way that keep us from doing more that matters? And then the third...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Robin.
Oh, I was just going to try to make a point that sometimes people are of a giving nature during the holiday season, and then for the other 10 months out of the year, they're not givers at all. And that really boggles my mind because people need help no matter what time of year it is.
No, absolutely. And another interesting thing is around 2/3 of Americans give to charity on an annual basis. But yet when we look at estate plans or leaving a lasting legacy or an impact, only 8% of Americans actually include a charitable organization in their estate plan or their final wishes. So it's very interesting that we're also very charitable during our lifetime, but yet very seldom do we incorporate a charitable organization in our planning. And I think that's probably one of the biggest myths that we're hopefully going to address in the book is that incorporating a charitable organization in your planning does not mean that you have to reduce your lifestyle or leave less to your children. In many cases, it means that you can create more income for yourself, create a bigger tax-free benefit to your family members, and still make an impact of an organization that you care about.
We had a gentleman come into the studio once after we had an interview with somebody with one of the veterans groups in our community. And the man who came into the studio was an older man, and he came in to tell Robin and I that he had just visited his attorney and changed his will so that the money that would be there when he died would go to the veterans group we had just spoken to. And I thought, wow, I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff when you realize that a man has had, and in his case, he had no heirs, right? There were no children, no grandchildren.
No children.
So in one interview, he was persuaded somehow, he was touched probably by whatever he heard, to make a very big decision like that. What would have happened without any heirs if he hadn't designated money going to anybody? What would happen to the money?
Well, certainly it would depend on his will, but the estate would go to, if he doesn't have a will, would be according to the state law, which would basically trickle down through the family tree. I'm not sure if he has siblings or nieces and nephews or other family members that it would go to.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't just kind of get absorbed into the state, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay.
How can a person keep their wishes from being contested? Because sometimes you hear about people leaving money to their animals, not just to the organization that helps animals, but to the animals as well. How can that person be assured that when they pass on, that will not be contested and broken?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's important to work with professionals that can hopefully carry out those wishes after you are not there to do that. But one of the other things that I think is important, and we talk about it in our book, You Can Do More That Matters, is that many times it can be very helpful to have kind of a family meeting to talk about the plans that you've put in place so that children and family members understand why you did your estate planning the way you did, and so they can help carry that out. I think it's also an excellent opportunity that if you do incorporate a charitable component, it's an excellent way to express to your children as to why that organization is important to you, so that they'll understand and be able to carry on your wishes after you're gone.
Because sometimes money can split families apart.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen it many times, not only with money, but as Larry was talking about personal possessions, that can also create a huge discord among children.
Do you know, we can all be philanthropists, and I'm sure there's a lot of philosophy or maybe spirituality regarding what we decide to give away. And if you live long enough and you've never really considered yourself to be a wealthy person, but you've been a philanthropist all your life, I bet you if you added it all up, I bet you close in on maybe $500,000, maybe even $1 million in some cases, right? But you've probably never given $1 million in one lump sum. Well, for most people, I mean, some people do, but the Bill Gateses of the world, etc. Do you advise both the Bill Gates type as well as the Robin and Larry type?
Yeah. There's a big gap there.
Absolutely. When we talk about that in the book, that you don't have to be Bill Gates. There are many ways that you can impact, whether it's with time, talent, or money.
And does the government get in the way sometimes?
Well, absolutely. We talk about the fact that we are all going to be philanthropists in one way or another. And we categorize it as either being an involuntary philanthropist or a voluntary philanthropist. And the involuntary is that we all pay taxes, whether it's income taxes or capital gains taxes or potentially estate taxes. So we're all going to support the welfare of mankind just through our taxation. But really where philanthropy comes in and can help on eliminating that is through voluntary philanthropy, where by structuring your estate, you can actually eliminate a lot of taxes. And many people aren't aware of the fact that you can actually have a zero tax estate, so you can eliminate that and you can control where you make the impact.
Is life insurance, and for those who are listening, we're not trying to sell anybody life insurance. I'm just asking the question because it comes up sometimes on other shows, even other infomercials that you and I have hosted, Robin. But this is not one of them, just so the listeners know. Greg is not, he's the author of a book called You Can Do More That Matters. But with that little disclaimer out of the way, is life insurance a way to leave to your children and grandchildren?
It is certainly one tool that can be used. I think the powerful thing about using life insurance is it can be a way of leveraging your impact to put in a premium and create a much larger benefit to your children. Plus the fact that a life insurance death benefit is tax-free, it can also be a very tax-efficient way of creating an impact in the legacy to your family or to an organization or anyone you care about.
Greg Hammond is our guest, and the book is called You Can Do More That Matters. If you knew you could, wouldn't you? And Greg, we do the show live, and that means listeners often will play a role in the show. Do you want to take calls?
Sure.
Okay.
Happy to.
All right, let me go to a couple of these. Greg Hammond is on the air. Good morning. You're on the air with Greg.
Hey, thanks, Larry, and thanks, Robin, and thanks, Greg, for calling the show. Conceptually, I agree with what you're proposing to Americans. I just don't think that the economy for the last 20 years has been as strong as it has been for the working class Americans to be able to give to their own families, let alone to a benevolent cause through wealth or through charity. The one thing I would say that I have seen on television, though, I think Greg probably has seen it as well, is that there are legacy donations given to public broadcast stations like PBS, and I think that's kind of a neat cause, or like to Habitat for Humanity, not just for the sake of tax shelters. So I would ask Greg, as an author, and it sounds like, and it's his prerogative, which I support to some degree, is capitalistic views. Does Greg believe that Social Security should be privatized? And then two, the other question, Greg, I would have for you: do you think fire departments and police departments should be run by General Electric or by the counties or states or cities? Have a good morning, you guys. Bye.
All right, some political angles there. Do you want to tackle them, Greg?
Sure. Just to kind of work through his comments there, I think certainly the aspect about the challenges with the middle class, I hold that true and understand that with all of the individuals that I work with as an investment and wealth advisor. And certainly one of the things that is important is that you have to make sure that you take care of you and your family first. Just like being on an airline where they tell you to put on your oxygen mask before you can help others, the same holds true with your financial picture. But I think there are ways of incorporating making an impact on your estate to an organization at the end when you don't need those funds any longer that can make a lasting legacy. As for the comments about Social Security, personally, I think there could be an advantage to privatizing it, but I think that there also is a benefit to the fact that the current system creates a safety net and forces us all to be a little smarter in putting that money away. But I do think that it could be run in a more efficient and better manner to benefit all of us. And as for privatizing, again, I think we'd have to look at where we can have the most efficient use of our tax dollars to make sure that things are being run in the most efficient and most beneficial way for the taxpayers, whether that's through the current government structure or privatized.
Well, and I'm guessing, I mean, if you wanted to donate, for example, to PBS, that's a wonderful thing. PBS serves everybody who watches it. I mean, I've been a viewer of that network, but I've heard of people also leaving money to their city. They're like the municipality, the government of the city, for example, or the federal government. I've heard of that. I'm guessing you've worked with everybody in your work as somebody who works with philanthropists, haven't you?
Absolutely. And you may do something like benefiting the local library or something that does have municipal support that you want to see continue on and last. Definitely.
And I think that people, no matter what their monetary status is, they're basically genuine. They're givers. I mean, look at all the Salvation Army pots that are around, and even if people give change, that's still a form of giving. They don't have to give hundreds of dollars to something. If they give $1 to something or 50 cents and they put that in that Salvation Army can, they're just as viable as the giver that can give $1,000.
Absolutely. Research has shown that the main drivers for all of us individually are that we want freedom, to be able to do what we want to do. We want to have mastery, that we're getting better at what we're doing, but also we want to have a sense of purpose. And I think all of us want to leave the world in a better position than when we came to it. And so I think we all have that kind of general drive to make a greater impact in our community.
The book is called You Can Do More That Matters. If you knew you could, wouldn't you? And I think the answer to that question is yes, I think so. Greg, how do we get the book?
Well, you can get the book as well as some additional free resources and a free chapter of the book at our website, which is domorethatmatters.com.
Okay, and a great message any time of year, but I guess right now it especially hits us because you look around and like the two ladies that were just here, trying to help out some of the older folks in our community, or the Christmas tree at your church, Robin, where you picked the name of a child who's got both parents in prison.
Yes.
Right? Well, I thank you for coming on the air with us this morning, Greg, and extend our thanks to Ron Ware, for the contributions obviously he made to the conversation. Greg, have a great holiday. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
My pleasure. Same to you, and I look forward to hearing from your listeners.
Okay, domorethatmatters.com is the website. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
Look who just walked in the room, Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, whatsupocala.com.
Thinking about friends and loved ones? Now is the time to visit Gem Galleria Jewelers, your full-service jeweler. With a gemologist on site to serve your every need and answer all your jewelry questions, Gem Galleria Jewelers is where to start and finish that Christmas list. Whether you're looking for cultured pearls, watches, diamond jewelry, or precious stones, Gem Galleria Jewelers is the place. Stop by today, 8441 Southwest Highway 200, Suite 101, on top of the world, and Merry Christmas.
Pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine, featuring local businesses and issues and written by local volunteers. Lady Lake Magazine has become a must-read in Marion, Lake, and Sumter counties, audited by Circulation Verification Council and serving the area for 23 years. Plus, Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. All we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 352-804-1223 and pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
The following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
This hurricane season, the most important thing you can do for your family and your business is to develop a hurricane preparedness plan. Florida's Division of Emergency Management's website, floridadisaster.org, now has a planning tool that will help you come up with your plan. All it takes is a few minutes to get a plan to better protect your family and your business when a hurricane threatens. Get a plan. Get yours at floridadisaster.org.
Here are today's headlines from the source. WOCA Marion County Fire Rescue is reporting that a fire destroyed an unoccupied residence in Dunellen yesterday evening and caused the closing of U.S. Highway 41, which is the main north-south roadway in that city. Spokeswoman Jessica Green said that when firefighters arrived at the home at 1700 North U.S. 41 at 6:18 p.m., 95% of the structure was in flames. The fire was approximately 1,000 square foot wood frame home, and it was deemed under control by firefighters at 6:31 p.m., according to Green. Firefighters from 12 units responded to the scene to shut down the northbound and southbound lanes of US 41 upon their arrival. At 6:39 p.m., the southbound lane was reopened for traffic. No one, including pets or animals, was injured in the fire. The fire is being investigated by the state's fire marshal's office. The family of a Broward County woman who died last year has filed a lawsuit against Disney, blaming the theme park employees for her ultimately fatal leg injuries. According to the complaint filed last month, Catherine Jo Ann Ballatin visited the park with her family on March 23, 2012. Ballatin fell and fractured a bone in her left leg as she attempted to board the Magic Kingdom Jungle Cruise attraction with her 3-year-old son in her arms, according to the complaint. Her family said if Disney employees had helped the woman onto the ride, that could have prevented her fall. Ballatin underwent surgery for her injuries on April 4th, and then on April 7th, 2012, she died because of a blood clot in her leg. The family said Disney failed to ensure the woman's safety. The family wants repayment of medical and funeral expenses, as well as loss of financial earnings and payment for mental pain and suffering for Ballatin's husband. More than half of Floridians with disabilities will soon be moved off a waiting list to access services. Earlier this year, the legislature approved $36 million to move approximately 750 individuals off the waiting list and start receiving services. But Governor Rick Scott said yesterday he now expects those funds to reach approximately 1,600 people. The Agency for Persons with Disabilities developed criteria to enroll individuals with the greatest needs. Roughly $500,000 will help 200 people with developmental disabilities on the waiting list pay for employment services to help get jobs and internships. Deborah Dowds is the executive director of the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council. She said so many more people who are in desperate need of services will be offered waiver enrollment than initially anticipated. It's a floating tribute to the victims of 9/11 attacks, and starting today, it will call Jacksonville home. The USS New York is the first of 3 ships in the Navy's amphibious ready group to move from Naval Station Norfolk to Naval Station Mayport in Jacksonville. It's designed to move Marines and their equipment from sea to shore and sustain them. At this week, the crew's mission has been to move. On Wednesday, they pulled out of Naval Station Norfolk and started heading south to Naval Station Mayport. The purpose of the move is to spread out the Navy's assets along the Atlantic seaboard. This particular asset is special. Built after the 9/11 attacks, its bow contains 7.5 tons of steel recovered from the World Trade Center. The USS New York will pull into Mayport today, sometime around noon. Orlando is having a holiday light celebration tonight similar to Ocala's Light Up Ocala. Shortly after 6 p.m. this evening, Lake Eola Park will be lit with 500,000 LED holiday lights. More than 22,000 of them hang from the city's new Christmas tree. It's an artificial tree. For the first time this year, it towers 6 stories tall. Taxpayer watchdog groups gave the project the thumbs up when they learned that all of those tiny lights combined gobbled up no more electricity than what a bedroom outlet could easily provide. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
Look who just walked in the room. Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Whatsupocala.com.
Thinking about friends and loved ones? Now is the time to visit Gem Galleria Jewelers, your full-service jeweler. With a gemologist on site to serve your every need and answer all your jewelry questions, Gem Galleria Jewelers is where to start and finish that Christmas list. Whether you're looking for cultured pearls, watches, diamond jewelry, or precious stones, Gem Galleria Jewelers is the place. Stop by today, 8441 Southwest Highway 200, Suite 101, on top of the world, and Merry Christmas.
Pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine featuring local businesses and issues and written by local volunteers. Lady Lake Magazine has become a must-read in Marion, Lake, and Sumter counties, audited by Circulation Verification Council and serving the area for 23 years. Plus, Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. All we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 352-804-1223 and pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Yes, George?
I'm going to Devon's Self-Storage.
You mean Devon's on 200 across from Hobby Lobby?
Yes. You know I have my own code to get in. If I have a question, I just call 873-0777.
Didn't you just go there last night?
Well, yes. They're open late.
Didn't you go Christmas shopping this weekend?
Yes.
Then you went to Devon's Self-Storage?
Yes.
George, what are you up to?
Bye.
George.
Ready or not, the holidays are here. And if you need a great gift idea, then give bottles of local wine from Island Grove Wine Company. They're locally owned and operated, so you can go visit the winery for a true wine experience. Located just north of Ocala off Highway 301, you can enjoy free tours and tastings. Open weekdays from 10 to 4 and holiday Saturdays from 11 to 4. For more information, call 481-WINE. That's 481-WINE. And don't forget a bottle for yourself.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require a $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, well, just a quick note to our producers that the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has opened the Conservation Stewardship Program for new enrollments for federal fiscal year 2014. Florida NRCS District Conservationist Chris Menhennet has more details.
The sign up now is going for the Conservation Stewardship Program, and it will be going through January 17th. And we're encouraging all producers to come in if they think they might be eligible for the program.
And for more information regarding that eligibility, producers can go online to fl.nrcs.usda.gov.
Your Beef Checkoff does all kinds of things to help make sure consumers feel good about buying beef. And it's beef and dairy producers like you making decisions on how to invest your $1 per head checkoff to ensure beef makes its way to more meat cases, menus, and kitchen tables. And thanks to that careful investment, your Beef Checkoff returns more than $5.50 for every $1 invested. Get to know your checkoff and start sharing your views at mybeefcheckoff.com. Paid for by the Beef Checkoff.
Top House and Senate Farm Bill negotiators emerged from their last bargaining session on Wednesday that lasted just over an hour, only to repeat their well-worn refrain since before Thanksgiving.
Good step. Staff are doing some work on specifics and on some scores and so on, but we're making great progress.
That's Senate Ag Chair Debbie Stabenow, who, when pressed for specific areas on where the two sides narrowed differences, refused to give details, saying only that negotiators are coming closer to every part of the bill. And House Ag Chair Frank Lucas was no more specific.
Made great progress. We have more progress to make. We have a good faith effort by the principals. We have a good faith effort by a brilliant staff. Just let us keep working.
But as the clock ticks down, at least one of the principal negotiators is less than confident. As Top House Ag Democrat Colin Peterson said, even though a deal by the deadline is possible, he is not sure it will be ready to vote on by next week, the last week the House plans to be in session this year. Julie McPeak with Southeast AgNet.
Ocala's